Hello all and welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. Another use case I'm going to cover in this video for Hedera/Hbar, as well as some general crypto market news, which is fairly bullish for the overall market and the future of this space in general. First things first, looking at the crypto bubbles for the weekly performance, we can see that sort of 50% of the projects are still holding on to the gains from earlier in this week when we saw Bitcoin have a nice 15% pump, along with other projects like Ethereum. As we all know, Bitcoin and Ethereum, those two projects kind of drive the path for the crypto market. Bitcoin dominance is still around 40 to 45%. So the majority of the market follows what happens to Bitcoin, regardless of whether it's a use case or not. It is still seen as a store of value and it is the poster child for the crypto markets. And that's why a lot of emphasis is still put on Bitcoin. Anyway, Hbar is down roughly 6% on the week, similar for the month as well at 5.5%. This is still a great time to be accumulating and is something that I am going to continue to do. Like I said before, if you're in these projects for the long run, which you probably should be, these are great opportunities for all of us. If we flick over, one of the things I wanted to talk about for the general crypto market was a tweet from Blockworks talking about 5 major banks, Fidelty, BlackRock, State Street and Charles Schwab, and looking at their assets under management. So Fidelity with 4.2 trillion, BlackRock with 10 trillion, State Street with just under 4 trillion, and Charles Schwab with 7.5 trillion. So a combined of around $25 trillion under management. Now, the news being for these is that all 4 of them are looking to enter the crypto markets via ETFs. Now, if you guys don't know what ETFs are, they are exchange traded funds, and they are effectively like an index fund. They are a basket of different assets. So if you guys are aware of equities, you've got, say, the S&P 500. That is 500 different companies within the US that are wrapped into an ETF, which you can buy. So you buy the ETF and you get a small percentage of each of those companies that you effectively own. And the same thing will be for the crypto markets. So what will happen is you'll have a bundle of cryptos, effectively they get wrapped up into an ETF, and you buy one of these crypto ETFs, and that effectively gives you exposure to, say, 10 to 100 cryptos depending on the size of the ETF. Now, why is this important? It's important because there's potential here. If you've got $25 trillion of assets under management, that is effectively 25 trillion US dollars of capital. If they open up these ETFs available to retail and commercial investors, a percentage of that 25 trillion will flow into the crypto markets. So this is incredibly bullish for additional liquidity and money flowing into the crypto space. It's a really, really big deal. So we can see here from all these screenshots, you know, Charles Schwab here looking at ETFs for crypto funds. Index tracking fund would invest primarily in the stocks of companies involved in the space. Naturally, it's a trickle through effect. The companies that are involved in the space, like these miners and actual crypto projects, obviously hold the tokens anyway, so they are indirectly purchasing from the markets. And the same with State Street. And finally, Fidelity as well, talking about it. And obviously, there's been a lot of speculation recently about a standard ETF for Bitcoin rather than a futures ETF. Hopefully, we see something get allowed through the regulatory bodies over in the US to enable these spot ETFs to take place in the crypto markets, and it'd be a very, very bullish sign for crypto in general. So some big news there anyway. So what's the use case I wanted to touch on today? The use case is SUKU OMNI. So SUKU OMNI allows brands to leverage GS1 standards and the public Hedera network to tell their product story to securely verify products' authenticity throughout a supply chain. So this is another supply chain use case. As I've said before, a lot of these use cases that we've covered recently are supply chain based. I think it's going to be one of the big selling factors of Hedera, and it just kind of goes to show as well, or it makes VeChain kind of redundant as a cryptocurrency, that supply chain management can effectively be done on top of Hasghraph and via Hedera and their consensus and token services. So really bullish stuff for Hedera in general. I mean, taking a look at the supply chain industry in general, every single operating industry has some kind of supply chain, particularly when it is making tangible products and services. So you think of every product that is sold through Amazon and eBay, for example, there is a supply chain for each of those products. And this is where use cases on the crypto Ledgers like Hasghraph, for example, can be utilized to basically make those supply chains more efficient and transparent for all parties involved, which reduces costs, which then benefits customers at the end with lowered prices. That's the theory anyway. So the challenge for SUKU was they needed a cost-effective and scalable way to tag and prove the authenticity of products end-to-end in a retail supply chain whilst improving visibility and product knowledge for their customers and end users. The solution for SUKU ended up being Hedera Hasghraph. They use this to strengthen the trust between supply chain partners and their customers, as well as users. This results in financial and opportunistic benefits for platform stakeholders and the market as a whole. So we can see again another one of these companies coming out and saying, like, we've chosen Hedera Hasghraph to build our service because it is just more scalable, more efficient, and faster than everything else out there on the market at the moment. We thought through how to solve the problem of trust between supply chain participants, product manufacturers, and conscious customers. SUKU wants to become the universal symbol of truth for conscious customers and brands, said Lucas Henning, the CTO of SUKU. We required a tool that offered low-cost transactions, scalability, and little to no operational overhead for the governance and infrastructure. Everything that Hedera Hasghraph is about as a blockchain alternative. Anyway, guys, that was kind of it. I will leave links to these websites in the description. As I've said before, check out my previous videos. There are plenty of other use cases that I've covered over on this channel. They are growing all the time. I've produced a couple of infographics to show as well that, you know, Hedera is being rolled out in 7 out of 11 of the key economic sectors, which is absolutely phenomenal. There are only 4 sectors left to tick off the list before Hedera Hasghraph is being utilized across every single industry that we, the human population, use day to day. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.